Alright, so I wanted to talk about Malcolm X. Okay, I know you guys are like, this girl's on all kinds of fucking channels right now. But no, really. I just kind of had like this flash of like, I gotta talk about this guy. I have to talk about how he fucking moved me in my philosophy, right? So, growing up, a Mesoamerican girl in a predominantly white family, I always kind of had this weird identity thing, like, well, my cousins are white, my mom's white, my stepdad's white, my stepsister's white, everyone's white. And not that that's a problem or anything, but you do see how people treat you slightly differently when you grow up in those families. Like, your family doesn't treat you different, it's how everyone treats your family and then treats you. Kind of like you're the adopted one or you're the weirdo. And I wasn't adopted, but I was treated like I was just kind of like an addition to the family, not really a part of the family. And not by my family, by others. I don't know. You get it, right? Well, I remember learning about Malcolm X. That fucking guy. Okay, and I know yesterday was Martin Luther King Day, and I should be talking about him, but this is why I'm talking about Malcolm X, actually. Because I'm like, why doesn't Malcolm X get a day? Okay, like, Martin Luther King, like, he had good ideas, like, to do it all in peace and all that, but then he did something fucked up with Birmingham, where he brought children, knowing what they would do to children in Birmingham, Alabama. He knew that they were gonna send the fucking police dogs on them. He knew that they were gonna get beaten. He knew that they were gonna get the fire hoses. He knew that terrible fucking shit was gonna happen to them, and he used them as an example. Okay. He used them as a sacrifice for the cause, right? And for me, that kind of fucks me up, right? And I remember Malcolm X, my boy, my dude, he's like, what the fuck? He was pissed. He was just like, what? He's like, no, if somebody sicks their dog, and I'm paraphrasing so bad right now because I'm just doing it out of memory because I'm in a hurry. He's like, if somebody sicks their dog on you, you kill that fucking dog, and then you kill the man who sicked it on you. He was like all about self-defense, right? All about self-reliance. He was all about the right to bear arms and everything else, the right to protect oneself, right? The freedom of autonomy, the freedom of decision for yourself, and living in your highest authority, regardless of the color of your skin, regardless of who you were. You still have the ability to live in your highest authority, right? This hit me, okay? Like a fucking ton of bricks. I was like, fucking love this guy. Like, he's out here. He was upset. That was a huge loss, okay? A huge loss to the African American community. And not just death, because deaths did happen, but just in the actual warfare, the actual defeat, because if you look at it as an actual war, it was like somebody sending their troops into a battle knowing that their troops are going to be fucking obliterated just to send a message. That's a lot. It's kind of like 9/11 shit. Just saying. And I know the message was an important one. I know it was. that's where I have like my internal conflict about it. I know it was an important message because it did strike America in a certain way, and it did really be a force for change. But at what cost? At what cost? And that was kind of a fucked up, like, holy fuck moment, for me, learning about this after it's already happened, after it's already said and done, but yeah, I learned about it. I was just like, oh my god. And Malcolm X, he was an amazing writer, an amazing everything. He went to prison, and he had to learn about what it actually meant to dive inside oneself, to find the freedom within, to find kind of like Nelson Mandela, my other boy. You know, like, you know, to find the freedom within, to find that they are so much, like, and they can always, regardless of the circumstance, they can always stick up for themselves. They can always protect themselves. They can always have ownership over their autonomy, right? And that's where it really hit me, you know? And I don't want to be that guy who's just always like, I don't want it to seem like I'm taking anything away from the message of Martin Luther King. You know, a lot of things did karmically end up fall into place as a result of that. So I feel like it's not my place to judge anybody for decisions that they make, even if it is as at such a cost, you know. And it's kind of like domestic terrorism in the name of winning, you know. But that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna try to keep my opinion out of it. I'm an Aquarius, so you know me. I can't always do that. Sometimes it seeps through, and I'm kind of like, you know what I'm saying. But you know, Malcolm X. I feel like everyone should really learn about him and like really read some of the shit he's written. Really understand what it means to be liberated within oneself. Some of his philosophies are a bit extreme, or more on the like self-serving, somewhat hateful side. But at the same time, you have to understand where he came from, what kind of life he was brought into, and how he had to endure that, and how he had to overcome and persevere into the highest expression of himself, you know. And so I feel like we should honor him too, you know, and all that he's done for America, and all he's done for fucking little people like me, you know, to really help me, because, you know, talking was hard, and expressing my truth was hard, because I was like, ain't nobody want to hear what I gotta say, you know. And Malcolm X was just like, you gotta say what you gotta say, you know. He was like, watch me do it. Sometimes you just gotta say what you gotta say. And you know, so it's like, I don't know, I just feel like deeply spiritually connected to him and his message, right? So like, I hope, like, if he's incarnated on this fucking planet, that I've crossed paths with him or something, because, you know, it's just such a strong energy, and that's a very powerful energy to stand next to, you know. And I can only fathom that in my dreams. But when people stand up in such a Sigma way, in such a way that, like, there is no, like, circumstance that they can't overcome, because kind of like Epictetus. Oh my god, let's talk about my boy Epictetus before I go. Okay. okay. You guys got me on the whole history and philosophy shit. Now I gotta go on. So Epictetus, right? Epictetus was dope as fuck. So this guy, he was a slave. Okay, he was a motherfucking slave, and his master hated him. He's like, why are you always in a good mood? Why are you always this? Why are you always that? And he was just pissed. He's like, you're the slave. I'm the master. I should be the one that's happy, not you. Duh, you know? And Epictetus had a fucked up leg from when he was a kid. He had broken it, and, you know, ancient medicine and all that, they didn't really reset it right or whatever. So he had a twisted, fucked up leg. And it was like his master would abuse him, right? And one day he starts twisting his bad leg, and Epictetus is like, bro, you gotta stop. He's like, look, if you don't stop, it's gonna break, you know. And he says it all stoic, you know, and he's just like, and that's how he became a stoic master, is this story. And he's like, if you don't stop, it's gonna break. And the master kept going, and Epictetus just allowed it. He had the guts to not fight back. He was like, I will not rise to hostility and anger and violence. I will not allow that in my soul, right? And so this motherfucker, he fucking, sorry, my hair's everywhere now. But yeah, so he's like, he breaks Epictetus's leg, right? Fucks it all the way up. And Epictetus is like, I told you, you know, and still his spirit was never broken. The body broke, but the spirit did not, right? And so he could no longer be a slave because his leg was too fucked up. So then he went on to be one of the greatest philosophers that ever lived. And he was one of the greatest minds that ever lived. And he really spoke on how the body can break, but the spirit cannot if you don't allow it. Eleanor Roosevelt said something similar when she was like, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent, you know? And so I hope this is a message that I could really leave you on today, is that like jealousy, hostility, anger, you know, reaction and anger, reactions out of fear, actions out of fear, kind of like Birmingham, you know, things like that, they can be really detrimental. God, I'm fucking up my hair. Okay, guys, this is me. Okay, I'm fucking up my hair for you. No, yeah, so, yeah, so, my ADHD, I'm sorry. Fuck. Yeah, no, but basically, regardless of whatever circumstances, you just can't be broken unless you allow it, right? You can't make bad decisions unless you first consent to them. You can't, you know, so when you feel that rise to anger, when you feel things coming up, you feel, you know, learn how to manage it, learn how to, like, yeah, feel the feelings, but cope with it, like, learn how to learn from it. Get your fucking journal out and start really, you know, writing about it, but write it in pencil so you could erase it afterwards, you know, or throw it in a fire afterwards. You don't want to keep those words forever, just whatever you're in the feeling of, let it out and let it go, you know, if it's really negative, or if it's fear-based, or if it's doubt-based, or if it's low vibrational at all, you know, find a way to just kind of release it into the world and release it from your life. Let spirit kind of handle shit for you. Fuck, I want to chain smoke. Don't judge me. Or do, I don't fucking care. Oh no, I left my cigarettes inside. Okay, I guess the universe has spoken. I will not chain smoke. But yeah, so but yeah, just honor yourself today and every day by living out your highest self. Don't allow yourself to be brought down into a lower vibration that isn't really you, you know? Don't let people bring you down into the ego, because that's not really you. You know, that's not really you. The real you is deep down inside. The real you is the one that holds the values, the morals, the lessons, the growth, the expansion, the faith, the hope, the ambition, the drive, the motivation, the optimism, you know. There's this great poem I read, if I could only remember by who and what it's called, but he basically, he's talking about how, like, the man who believes he can, and the man who believes he can't, you know, because they're both right. I'm not going to tell the poem because I don't know it, so, but that's basically the message, right, is that the man who can, the man who can't, and it's all a choice. It's all a state of belief in oneself, in one's highest self, and having the faith that you have what it takes to get there, to achieve that, to do that. So live your philosophy today, because these great philosophers didn't live for no fucking reason, right? Namaste, and I love you all, and I will see you on the next one.